What if one driver could walk into a garage full of NASCAR's best road course racers and beat every single one of them without saying a word? He doesn't announce it. He doesn't have to. Crew members from 6 different teams glance up when he walks past, then look away just as fast, like eye contact might somehow make it worse. Engineers who've spent decades studying braking zones and apex speeds are now studying something else entirely: him. There's a silence that follows this driver through the paddock, and it isn't the silence of indifference. It's the silence of teams who already know how Sunday ends before the green flag drops. The location is Sonoma Raceway, tucked into California's wine country, and the man walking through that silence is Shane Van Gisbergen. SVG didn't need a press conference to send his message. He sent it the only way that matters in racing, with a stopwatch. His back-to-back win at Sonoma marked his 8th career Cup Series win, and every single one of them has come on a road or street course. That statistic alone ties him with Tony Stewart for second most road course wins in NASCAR Cup Series history, sitting just 1 victory behind Jeff Gordon's record of 9. NASCAR's own account captured the moment on social media, posting "Victory in the Vineyards" following the checkered flag. TNT Sports amplified the result across its platforms, treating the win less like an upset and more like a confirmation of something the sport already suspected. But the real story isn't what happened to SVG at Sonoma, it's what's happening to everyone else. Rivals who once had legitimate claims to road course superiority are now searching for answers that don't exist. Chase Briscoe, Tyler Reddick, Christopher Bell, and AJ Allmendinger, 4 drivers with real road course pedigree, real wins, real credibility on twisty tracks, have all found themselves on the wrong side of SVG's dominance. These aren't drivers who simply lack road course skill. Briscoe alone has multiple road course victories on his resume. Reddick built his early Cup reputation on street circuits. Bell came up through dirt and road racing before ever reaching Cup, and Allmendinger has long been considered one of the field's most reliable road course hands. That resume is exactly what makes the gap so hard to explain. According to reporting from Speedway Media and RF Racing Digest, engineers across multiple teams have gone back through braking traces trying to find a mechanical or technical explanation for what SVG is doing. So far, nothing has surfaced. The data doesn't show a car doing something impossible. It shows a driver doing something teams can't replicate. Lap after lap, his braking points arrive later than anyone else's, and his corner exit speeds stay consistent even as tires wear down. The kind of pattern that normally points to a car advantage, except rival teams running similar equipment haven't been able to match it. Some crew chiefs have gone as far as requesting side-by-side telemetry comparisons with their own drivers, hoping to isolate a single variable that explains the gap. None of those comparisons have produced a clear answer. The account Braking Zone described it bluntly on social media, writing that SVG attacks the stopwatch in a way few drivers ever have. Stock Car Talk echoed a similar sentiment, framing his dominance as something that has started to look comfortable, a word that carries weight when applied to a sport built on split-second margins. Theories are already circulating. Some point to his supercars background in Australia, where road and street racing shaped his entire development as a driver, across hundreds of starts, before he ever arrived in NASCAR. Others point to Trackhouse Racing's road course package, suggesting the car itself has become a weapon in these specific conditions. Neither theory has been confirmed. Both remain open, unresolved threads inside a garage that's still trying to make sense of what it just watched. What it watched at Sonoma wasn't a runaway. It was a fight that only looked easy in hindsight. Ty Gibbs held the early lead, with SVG methodically closing the gap lap by lap, never rushing, never forcing a mistake. Then came the restart, with 47 laps remaining. The moment SVG simply rocketed away from the field, the kind of move that ends debates before they start. Except the debate wasn't quite over. On the final lap, Chase Briscoe attacked into turn 11, throwing everything he had at the corner in one last attempt to close it out. He missed his mark by inches. Afterward, Briscoe admitted the moment plainly. "I felt like I was better," he said, acknowledging the mistake that cost him the run at the win. If you're new to NASCAR Racing Central, we're closing in on 1,500 subscribers, and breakdowns like this one are exactly why this channel keeps growing. So if you want more of these deep dives into the sport's biggest storylines, go ahead and hit that subscribe button before we keep going. The fallout from Sonoma didn't stay on the track. It spread through the media and the fan base almost immediately. Front Stretch and RF Racing Digest both noted a shift in the conversation's framing. The question is no longer whether SVG can win on a road course, it's whether anyone can stop him from doing it. Social media reflected the same shift. One fan account, FanIntern1, wrote that teams were already preparing for second place before the green flag even dropped. Garage Insider posted that the psychological advantage SVG now holds may be larger than his actual speed advantage. Motorsport Debate captured the tonal change directly, noting the question had moved from "Can SVG win?" to "Who can stop SVG?" Pit Road buzz raised the playoff stakes tied to the result, while Chevy Nation posted that the benchmark for road course performance has been permanently reset. Underneath all of that noise sits a real number: the chase standings. SVG jumped from 17th to 14th in points following Sonoma, putting him 24 points above the playoff cut line with a cushion of just 36 points. That is not safety. That is a margin that can vanish in a single bad weekend, and NASCAR's playoff format has a history of punishing exactly that kind of thin cushion late in the season. And that's where the real tension lives heading into the second half of the season. Inside NASCAR media, the debate over his playoff chances has split into two camps. One side argues SVG has already shown enough oval improvement to trust, pointing to his run at the Coca-Cola 600 and a fifth-place finish at Nashville as proof the learning curve is bending in his favor. The other side isn't convinced, pointing to Trackhouse Racing's inconsistency on ovals and a difficult stretch of track still ahead: Chicagoland, Echo Park, Daytona, and a rough outing at Iowa that raised real doubts about his oval ceiling. Both camps agree on one thing: the road course results no longer carry any debate. The oval results still do. That's the core of it. Total dominance on road courses, real unresolved doubt on ovals, and a playoff picture that won't wait for him to figure it out. History backs the caution. Road course specialists have entered the chase with momentum before, only to lose ground the moment the schedule turned toward mile-and-a-half and superspeedway tracks, where raw handling matters less than pack racing instinct and long-run tire management. Zoom out far enough and Sonoma stops being just another race weekend. It becomes a data point in a much bigger question: whether SVG has permanently altered how road courses get raced in the Cup Series, or whether this is a peak that ovals will eventually expose. SVG himself hasn't dodged that question. In a post-race interview, he said plainly, "I need to step it up on the ovals," acknowledging the gap between his road course mastery and his oval course uncertainty in his own words. That gap is where the next chapter gets written. Chicagoland is next. Then comes the superspeedway stretch, Echo Park and Daytona, tracks that have nothing in common with the tight, technical corners where SVG has made his name. Whether the armor holds or cracks under that pressure is still an open question, and it's one the entire garage is watching just as closely as the fans are. Drop your prediction in the comments. Does SVG survive the ovals, or does the pressure finally catch up to him? And if you're enjoying breakdowns like this, hit that comment section, share this video with another NASCAR fan, and help this channel keep bringing these breakdowns every week. If you enjoy real NASCAR breakdowns like this, you'll like what's coming next.